Welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality Radio with your host, K. William Spencer, and friends. This program is here to help all of us understand our journey in and through life by means of straightforward conversations, discussions, guest interviews, and listener emails. For more information, visit our site at YTYRradio.tk. Now, here's your host. Hello and welcome to Your Thoughts, Your Reality Radio. I am, as usual, your host, K. William Spencer. Today we have one fun-loving, very talented vocalist by the name of Amy Rose. Amy Rose is out of Ontario. She is I guess we'll say, aspiring country music vocalist that has, as we just said from my neighborhood, she's got some lungs. Girl can holler. She's got a really nice voice and style. We're going to get into a video clip of hers a little bit later on. But I'm going to let Amy Rose introduce herself from here. As you know in my show, it is we talk about what she's doing now and her aspirations. After the break, we'll talk about what was she doing before she said, I'm tired of doing this, let's go do that. So, and the transition from there, so hopefully it'll be an inspiration for those who are listening. So, Amy, are you there?
I am here. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. Just as a foreword before everybody listening, Amy and I just kind of hit it off, and we just love laughing and talking with each other, so don't mind us if we get off into that. So,
I feel like we had a few moments when we were talking earlier. Like I fell in love with you. That's an easy thing to do, I guess, right?
I don't know.
I was captured by your mesmerility. Is that a word? Mesmerility? Do you have a dictionary?
We'll coin it for now. It'll be your word. How's that?
My word. I made it up.
There you go.
I should make my own dictionary.
There you go. Why not? At any rate, tell us about your music career, what you're doing, what your plans are, and even what, as I was talking with one of your, co-clients with Michael. Yes, she's a client of Michael's Sover. I was talking to him. He's into alternative country, so are you just straight country, or what particular venue are you in?
I would say we're kind of like a mix. We're like a pop country, rock country. We add some rock into our sets, which is, great because I'm full-fledged country. I am a country girl. I am probably one of the biggest rednecks that you'll ever meet. From Ontario. It's funny because someone has said to me, they're like, I didn't realize that rednecks were from Ontario or that you guys were even up there. I'm like, oh no, we breed all around the world. Like, I was like, oh God, did I really that was one of those Amy moments that make you stop and go, But yeah, so like I was, born on country. I was raised on country. My parents were country, folks, and country, they love country. And my grandparents were diehard country fans. So I grew up on country music, and, that is where my heart is. But you know what? I also love me some AC/DC and some Heart and some Bon Jovi, you know what I mean? So we add that into our sets. So, and the crowd seems to love it. So yeah.
Sounds good to me, but as I heard your video, the title of her video, which we're going to get into later, is Party Like a Redneck, and this is definitely a party video. I gotta admit, when I watched it, it was just like, wow, okay, this is cool. I can get into it, and the video will get you laughing on top of everything else. Between the video pictures, I'll put it that way. The pictures will get you laughing, and it also get you rocking back and forth on chairs. I did. So, anyway, let's get back into. So, what are you doing? Where are you performing? What are your aspirations for the future? I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Oh, what am I doing? I ask myself that every day. That is the question, but what would be the answer?
Watch out for the answer.
Life is busy. We released my first U.S. single probably about 8 months ago. I Just Want You Know in the U.S., and it charted. It did really well. And so, we're following it up with Party Like a Redneck in the U.S., which Party Like a Redneck was actually released probably about 6 months ago in Canada, and it did well. It got picked up by CMT Canada, playing on the network there, as well as radio, seemed to take to it. So it's released to the U.S. and it's, doing great. I think it's in its like 6th or 7th week of release. So we're pretty happy about that. And then we got a new Canadian single coming out July 22nd called Sunshine. Radio interviews galore, as well as shows. We have a show opening up for Big and Rich in Lucknow, Ontario on August 24th, which I am excited about because I love Big and Rich. In fact, it's a goal of mine to make out with one of them.
Okay. You guys heard that?
Come find me. I'll be on Site 24. Oh, gosh.
Well, tell us about the show because, this is an international audience. So what is this show that you're talking about?
It was a fan-based show. So it was a video submitted. Party Like a Redneck was submitted, to like some sort of committee of Lucknow, and they chose their top 5 finalists to go on to a website, and then the fans voted who they wanted to see, perform at Lucknow and open up for Big and Rich. So I believe it was up for a month, and I think we got over 13,000 votes. It was something like 60% or 70% of the votes or something along that line. It was pretty fantastic. I had no idea that I even knew 13,000 people or, 13,000 people were listening. So I was quite excited. So we won that, and, we have the opportunity of opening up for Big and Rich. So quite excited about that.
Cool. Well, I tell you, the song that we're going to hear from her later, and I keep talking about it, but then again, I like the video and the song, is on YouTube at this moment. It has 167,980 hits.
You're kidding.
Nope, I'm looking at the video right now.
Wow, that's crazy.
See there?
You learn something new. You learn something new every day.
Well, here's the killing part about this. You had this published on July 6th. So July 6th, you put it up there, and now it's, July 20, today will tell the date. It's July 25th, and you've got 167,000, almost 168,000 hits on that one song.
Crazy. I'm loving it.
There
Loving
you
life.
go.
Loving the fans.
Uh-huh. Yep. Indeed. So you're on your way. Now you can be sitting up here partying like crazy.
Well, that's the one thing that I know how to do is party. So, yay, me.
Alrighty then. So, tell us, anything else there? What else, where are you going to be playing in the future, or near future? Or even distant future?
Near future. We just had a show on Saturday in Midland, Ontario, which is my hometown, with a great band called Western Avenue. They are really just tearing up the charts. They're amazing. And we have a show coming up on July 7th, back in Midland, Ontario at their Waterfront Festival, as well as we're at Perry Sound Rib Fest on July the 17th. And then, a bunch of shows after that, following, we're in LaFontaine, Ontario, which, I've never been there, so I'm quite excited about that. So just, a bunch of shows in Ontario. We're looking at possibly going to New York. We had an opportunity come to us probably a few months ago to go to New York and co-host a radio show down there. So we're gonna take that opportunity, and we're gonna head to New York and do co-hosting, and just hit some radio stations along the way and promote the album and the new single, and just a lot of great stuff in works.
Sounds good. Sounds like Michael's living up to what he said. I keep him busy.
Oh, he's amazing, that boy. He's like a whip.
Well, even if I was telling Jiggly the other night, it was just a thing of, and he always seems to make it look like it's just so easy. It's like whenever I have to contact him, he's just, he's there, and he's just so calm about it. So I'm like, hey, I got to hurry up and do this, I got to do that. And he's just, okay, fine, here. And everybody tells me he does such a wonderful job.
Oh, he's amazing. Probably the best thing since sliced bread. I'm almost certain. He's crazy amazing.
Yep, I agree with you. Not from my point of view, anyway. I mean, he's not promoting me for anything. I'm not a country singer or an artist or anything along that line. But from my point of view of doing the shows, yes, he's a great guy.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, he's a great guy to work with. He's always got at least, a moment to talk with you about something, and yeah, it's good. Any rate, now we'll brush Michael's back. That's right. Michael, you deserve it. Trust me, you deserve it. Yeah, you deserve it, Michael. No problems. But, okay. We're, let's see. So you have some shows coming up in July. How about August?
August we actually have the La Fontaine show, as well as we have the Lucknow, Ontario show with Big and Rich. And then we're in September, we've got some stuff going on in, I want to say Belleville. I think it's Belleville, Chatham area. We have a festival down there. And then, Tanya Kennedy and I, who is another great singer from the Barrie area, she's such a great, great talent. We're working on a benefit show in November, a Christmas charity show. So, just a lot of organizing, a lot of, great, great people in this area that, I get to work with or I have worked with in the past. So, just a lot of great things in store.
Now, tell me something, because I grew up not too far from Canada. And matter of fact, it was so close, we watched Canadian television and listened to Canadian radio and all the rest of that, but I never heard it in my youth. But then again, we know how old I am. I never heard country music being played in Canada. Is this something that's new, or what?
Oh, God. You know what? It's almost like country music is evolving, and I literally had this conversation with someone the other day. I think it's bigger than it's ever been, and I think it's possibly in every country, every inch of the world now, because you're right, you didn't hear a lot of country in Canada. It was huge in the States. It was always huge in the States. Yeah. And now it's bigger than it's ever been, and every station, that is, whether it's a rock station or a pop station or a mix station, they've generated and they're playing country music. They're adding those country songs into their rotations, as well as there's a lot more country stations in Ontario and Canada, in fact, than there used to be. So it's evolving. It's bigger than it's ever been. Like, where in Barrie has there ever been a country bar? And now we've got two of the biggest ones. So it's crazy. Life is good in my town. We got two country bars. You know where you can find me on a Saturday night?
Stomping down it. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. So, tell me, what are your aspirations for the future?
Oh, gosh. Aim high. Aim high, dream big. No dream is ever big enough. No dream is ever big enough. There's a lot of things that I, really want to do. And one of those being, and, if Michael's listening, I'm always saying this, and he's probably getting tired of it, because I know that he is working his butt off, and he's working, on this one goal that I have. But the Grand Ole Opry, I've always wanted to sing at the Grand Ole Opry. It's been a dream of mine since I was 5. So, to sing there and, just be at the heart of where it all began, that is a big, huge dream of mine, and I'm hoping I can get there. And I'm hoping Michael can get me there soon.
Well, if the public likes your singing as much as I do, I can't see any reason why you wouldn't make it there.
Aww,
that's just my opinion. That's my opinion.
Aww,
and that's
there's that moment we're having. We're having these moments where I feel like I just want to jump through the phone and give you a big old kiss.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay, just for everybody who's listening, trust me, she and I are going to do another show, but it's probably just going to be on comedy. So she and I just have far too much fun. Somebody that has my same sense of humor, oh yes, we're going to do a show and we're just going to stun everybody.
This is our clean side. Watch us get bad.
So, yeah, you're going to hear the human side of me, the real, really crazy side. But at any rate, and it's got to be with somebody that's like Amy here, because nobody else can understand my sense of humor. But then again, she might have the same problem, too. So I don't know.
I'm one of those people that everybody looks at the end of the day and goes, oh my God, where did she come from?
Yeah, same with me. Yeah.
Anna, did she have trouble? What is wrong with her?
Yeah, I've lost some friends because of that, but okay, that's okay. That's okay. I'm having fun. I'm sorry about you, but okay. Well, Amy, let's get into listening to your song. The song, why don't you introduce it again?
Yeah, this song is a song that I co-wrote with my incredible producers, Marty, Beecroft, and Glenn Coulson. It's called Party Like a Redneck.
Let's give it a listen.
It's a train wreck, what a mess, so loud, that's how we live. We're down on country bunkings, at it again. Down the road, we all go, on a barn, that's how we roll. If you want a good time, well come on in. Yeah, it gets crazy, but we're having fun. So if you party hard when the work week is done, then come on down to our Redneck Reunion. Grandpa talks the phone way sweetie, Grandma tells him to hush up. The farmer's daughter's looking pretty, Uncle Teddy's looking for love. We know how to hoot, we know how to holler. No time better, yeah, things better underneath the blue collar. That's backwoods as you can get. 'Cause that's what happens when you party like a redneck. Beer flowing, guys snowing, yeah, girls won't be going to last year. The two-step is set on the floor, shouting Southern rock at the top of the lungs. We don't stop, jumping up, getting down, we all want more. Yeah, it gets crazy, but we're having fun. So if you party hard when the work week is done, then come on down to our Redneck Reunion. Grandpa talks the phone way sweetie, Grandma tells him to hush up. The farmer's daughter's looking pretty, Uncle Jack's looking for love. We know how to hoot, we know how to holler. No time better, yeah, things better underneath the blue collar. There's backwoods as you can get. 'Cause that's what happens when you party like a redneck. So come on down and pull around, we'll show you how it's done. I know you're gonna love it, you want some more of it. We're straight up shooting, party, rootin', son of a gun. So come on down to our Redneck Reunion. Grandma tells him to hush up. The farmer's daughter's looking pretty, Uncle Jack's looking for love. We know how to hoot, we know how to holler. No time better, yeah, things better underneath the blue collar. That's backwoods as you can get. That's what happens. That's what happens when you party like a redneck.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you loved that video. I did. I told you some of those scenes in the video was just funny. The funniest part for me, at least in the beginning of the video, was where, as I found out later on, that was actually her uncle coming out of the camper with the beer and without the shirt on. So, tell us about the other people in the video. You were telling me these are who?
Actually, everybody in that video that you see, they're, friends or relatives. The only people that we brought in that were extras were the dancers, because really nobody from my family can dance. We try, but we, do that whole, yes, it's not a pretty sight. But everybody in that video who you see, they're all a product of me. It's funny because when we co-wrote the song, there's a story behind that song. So my producers, Glenn Coulson and Marty Beecroft, used to be a part of a famous band in the early 90s. I used to say the 80s, and they used to get so mad at me, but really it was the 90s. Called VIP, and my middle sister, Amanda, was a huge fan of them. I mean, she had her posters or their posters on her wall, with the little hearts shaped around their heads, and she used to kiss them every night before she went to bed. She's listening. She's going to be so mad at me, but yeah, so so she loved them, and when she found out that I was working with them and that they were producing the album, she completely went, just all over, baffled, crazy schoolgirl crush crazy, right? So she was getting married, and she really had a crush on Glenn Coulson, which was one of the producers. And she was like, Amy, can I come see him? Can I meet him? Or, I was like, no, Amanda, like, you're going to embarrass me. And, I got to live up to some sort of reputation, right? So anyway, she was getting married, and I had asked Glenn, behind Amanda's back, to come and surprise her and do a duet with me at the wedding. So when I had called her out, I mean, like, all the girls at the wedding, just completely ran over to him and kissed him and hugged him, and oh my God, it's Glenn Coulson. So at the end of the song, my grandpa, who is a huge Conway Twitty fan, and he's probably one of the biggest rednecks you'll meet, walked over to him, and he's like, son, you're a pretty good entertainer, but that Conway Twitty, now that's an entertainer. And Glenn just kind of looked at me, because he's so Mr. Hollywood, and everybody in that hall was dressed in their best jogging pants, and that was the type of wedding it was, right? So he looked at me and he was like, oh my God, Amy, this is a song. And long and behold, we wrote the song. So when I sat down with the director that was producing the video, I had said, what, this song was written based on my redneck family and a product of where I come from, and I want them in it. I want them to be a part of this journey that I'm on, and that was a deal. That was one of the things that he said. You know what, Amy, you're right. You got it. They're in. So, everybody in that video is related, or they're really good friends, and it was just one crazy fun day, I tell you.
Oh, yeah. Now, you were telling me that the video is going basically viral in the U.S. Tell us about that.
Yeah, funny story. So last week we found out that Party Like a Redneck got picked up by a chain of outlets in the U.S., and it will air on their stations in McDonald's, Taco Bell, Arby's, and a whole bunch of clothing stores in the U.S. where they have the TVs in their, the outlet malls and the restaurants. So it's part of the video package, or it's one of the videos that they've selected to be aired, and we were crazy ecstatic about it, because that's a big deal, and for someone to pick up my song and recognize that this is a good song and they want to play it in the US, it baffled me, and I'm just so humbled that people are loving it.
There you go. Told you could sing. Like there was any question about it, and you needed me to verify that. But
oh, there's that moment again.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Get into moving back up north.
We're gonna have like a private session, like a 2-minute clip where I can be like, oh, he's so dreamy, he's so cute. There's that moment again that makes me smile.
Oh God. I don't know if I should roll over laughing or blush like crazy.
Did Michael not warn you that I was a nut? Like, did he not say,
not
this
only...
Amy was sick, like she's crazy, like really crazy, like inside. I just got out of the hospital, mental hospital crazy type thing.
Nobody went that far with it, but they told me that you were definitely out there. Yeah. And I guess I just didn't quite understand what they meant by that, but
your life is never going to be the same.
Well,
you've been immunized.
One of those earth-shattering moments on the radio. Okay. God, here it is. I'm talking to someone who... This is weird. I'm talking to the audience here. It's kind of weird. Amy is not... Let's put it this way. She's young enough to be my daughter, but she sounds like she grew up in my era. My era, basically, we loved to play with words. We loved to play with... we loved word play. We loved the sound play. As I was telling her, there was a comedy routine. It was late 50s, early 60s. And it was just called Martha and John. And all it did was just... It was a man and a woman that did nothing more than say Martha, John, for about 5 minutes. You can find it on YouTube. And it's... all it was just a comedy routine of two people that met each other, and you could tell it's just Martha, John. And it went from there to a social meeting and gathering, and then it just got heavy and, how should we say, intimate. And it took you all the way through, and it was just two people saying Martha and John with different voice inflections. And this is the fun that I'm having with Amy here. It's just we love wordplay, and we love the little... voice play, if you will, intonations. This is why we're laughing so much with each other. And literally, I'm sitting over here wiping tears from my eyes just because she makes me laugh so hard. So, anyway.
Oh, there's that moment again.
Okay. I'm going to shut up for a while.
Yeah, one of those scenery buttons. What are the every time we have that moment, it's like sparkles. Does that even? That was my effect. I don't even know if you could hear that, but that was my effect.
Oh my God. Okay. Yes, I need more paper to wipe my face with. Okay. Yes. Okay. Tell us some more about the video.
Well, okay, so the day of the set, I had to get up really early, and, which I'm fine. If I don't get, I'm fine waking up early, but if I don't get, my 7 hours of beauty sleep, I become this big diva. So I think I went to bed the night before at, it was 12 or 1, because I couldn't sleep because I was so hyped. And we had our my makeup call at 5:30 in the morning. So, yeah, I know. And I had bags underneath my eyes, and I was just, I was one of those, I wanted to be, grumpy, but, it was just so much fun. You couldn't not have fun at that shoot because it was just, honestly, everybody was laughing and hooting and hollering, and, we had people playing with goats and, sitting with goats and talking to dogs and cats and chickens, and, it was just a great deal of fun that day.
It looked like it. So how long did the shoot last?
It was about 15 hours.
What?
Yeah, it was a long day. It was a very long day, because there was so many different scenes, and we probably had about 60 people that were in there, in the barn shooting, and the little girl at the end of the video, I have 3 daughters, and the little girl at the end of the video that's with the goat, that's my youngest, Ella, and then my middle daughter, Olivia, she did not want to be in the video at all. We brought her out there. She was so excited that she was going to be in a music video, and then by the time the 14 hours had passed, or the 10 hours that they wanted her to be in it type thing, she was done. She was just like, what, I'm gonna jump on that trampoline, Mom, leave me alone. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then my oldest daughter, Dana, who is 12, she was actually one of the dancers in the back.
So she knows how to party.
She knows. Well, she's like her mom, like mother, like daughter, right? So she's just She's just as fun as what I am.
And Olivia just says, enough is enough. I'm just going to have some fun now. Bye.
Olivia's the boy that I will never have. She's into the whole hockey, and they out at the shoot they had a trampoline or did I say that right? Trampoline?
Yeah, there you go.
They had a trampoline, and she was just like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a movie star. I just want to jump on the trampoline. So you go do your thing, and Mom, I'll be right here.
I'm going to be a kid for a while. You be the star. I got you.
Exactly.
Okay, well, Amy, we're going to take another commercial break here. Actually, another commercial break. That first commercial break. First one was your video. Anyway, we're going to take a commercial break here. Please stay tuned. We have more to come, and Amy's going to tell us about what she was doing before she got into doing the music and what inspired her and how's the transition going. You're hearing some of what she's accomplished, so now we get to find out what was the inspiration and how she's done it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hi, this is K. William Spencer of Your Thoughts, Your Reality Radio. Join us every Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern on Freedom Talk Radio for enlightening, humorous, and intriguing conversations that I have with my co-host and or our guest, all to help you look at life and your choices differently. For more information, go to ytyrradio.tk, or if you prefer, ytyrradio.wordpress.com.
Are you ready to put an end to thinking about how you wish it were and take action? Take this step to find out more by going to coachingbyria.com, and you can receive your free consultation session with Coach Ria.
Okay, we're back. Welcome back to Your Thoughts, Your Reality Radio. And our guest today, again, is Amy Rose. And we've heard about what she's doing, what her aspirations are, where she's going to be playing. We've heard a video clip, wonderful video clip. And I'm going to listen to it again later. So, Amy, tell us about those times in your past that made you go, I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm going to go after my dream, after my goals in life, things that make me happy, and I can earn a living at it at the same time. Tell us about those times.
Okay, so I started singing when I was 5. And it's funny because, like I said, I grew up on country music. My parents were diehard country fans. My grandparents were diehard country fans. So I was brought up on country music. And I mean like the classics of country music. Dolly Parton, Patsy Cline, Tammy Wynette, Conway Twitty, George Jones. You know what I mean? The great classic country music. And it's funny. I remember like it was yesterday. I was 5 and we were down at Promenade Days, which is a local Barrie fair here in Ontario, and they had a karaoke contest. And at that point, my parents didn't even know that I could sing because, I had a record player in my room, oh my God, that's showing my age, and I had a little Strawberry Shortcake record player that my parents bought me, and it was like the little mini records and stuff. Yeah. So I would listen to them, and my parents didn't know that I could sing. So we were down there, and I remember sitting there, and, all these people were getting up, and they were singing, and I said to my mom and my dad, I said, I want to get up there and I want to sing. And I remember my mom looking at me saying, Amy, they're for, it's a contest, honey. We're going to sit here and we're going to watch. And I looked at her and I was like, Mom, I'm 5. I want to get up there and I want to sing. Almost to the point where I was like, I know what I want to do. This is, I'm 5 years old. I got my act together, Mom. Like, seriously, why are you questioning me?
Yeah.
So I think I might have pulled a tantrum and cried. I don't know what it was, but my parents humored me, and they went up and they talked to the judge, and they didn't really think that I could sing, right? So they were expecting me to bawl and run off stage or whatever it was, right? Because I was 5, and they humored me, and I got up there and I sang a Tammy Wynette song, "Stand by Your Man," and I knew word for word, and I got up there and I belted it out. And at that point, I think that's when my parents realized, okay, there's something here. Let's work with it. And it's been every day since that moment that we've been working on this career. I had the greatest parents in the world because we traveled all across Ontario, as well as the U.S. There were so many countless trips, when I was younger, that we went back and forth to Nashville, recording and just doing shows. I did that for so many years, and I released my first album when I was 13. Yeah, 13. I was 13 when I released my first album. It was a gospel album, but being that young, and it taught me a lot in the industry, and it taught me things about the industry that not a lot of people would know at 13, right? And it's one of those things at 13, being in that industry, you've got to grow up fast, right? And you got to almost be like a hard shield, because there's going to be people that might not like your style, might not like you as an artist or your look or whatever it might be, right? So there's going to be people that are saying things about you. So at 13, it was a good building experience for me, right? So I did a gospel album, and it landed me on a Gospel NEM tour with Dorian Baxter and Conway Twitty's daughters, Joni and Kathy, which I am a huge fan of their father. So that was probably one of my biggest highlights in my career, and honestly, I will never forget it. They were so great, just two wonderful, down-to-earth people, fantastic. And so yeah, moving forward, I was, 16 when I released my second album, and, again, it's a lot of work, but it's one of those things where it's a learning process, and you learn so many things, right? So going from the first album, which I had no say in the songs, no say in, anything, in fact, for the album. It was one of those things where, this is what you're going to wear for the album cover, this is the song you're going to sing, this is the way it's going to be produced, these are the musicians that are going to be on it, to at 16, going and doing an independent album and having, a lot of say in it, to the point where, I would pick out the songs. I actually picked out the songs on that album. And then, moving forward to the third album, where I actually had a hand in co-writing the songs and co-producing this album. And, the musicians on them are just fantastic. These are people that I've worked with, Reba McEntire and Lady Antebellum and Olivia Newton-John. The list just goes on. These are well-established, Nashville players, and they're just crazy awesome, and they're great guys too. So, I'm having a ball working on this new album. But midway in the midst of my career, there was a point where I didn't stop. There was a point, I think, in my career, from 13 to 16, that I didn't have a day off. It was working day in, day out on this career, and weekends, every weekend we had a show. And there comes a point in your time or your career where you just kind of need to take a step back and breathe, right? And I think I was at that point, right? I was at my wit's end where I was like, what, I've been in this industry so long, and I really needed to just to stop and find, Amy and what was missing. And, that's what I did. I took a hiatus, and I had a family. I have 3 amazing daughters, Dana, Olivia, and Ella, who are just, honestly, they keep me grounded and so open-minded, and they teach me. I don't teach them. They teach me a lot of the stuff that's going on, and they've made me who I am today. And, that's a very proud mom. So it's one of those things where, I took a step back, I took a breather, and, I got these 3 fantastic kids, and I felt it was time to move back onto my career. So I think it was a good 5 or 6 years that I took off. And now I'm back. I'm back with a brand new attitude and a brand new album, brand new songs, a brand new video. Life is good.
Indeed. Now, it sounds like, it's not the first time I've heard this, and I just want to bring this up for the audience, is that the music industry is not what you would call an easy industry to be involved in. Even the radio industry, like I'm involved in, is not an easy industry to be involved in. But what you're hearing from everybody, including Amy, is that there's a love here, and if you have that love for what you're doing, it's not really work. We all say it. You've heard it from Amy, you've heard it from other people. There is a lot of work in this industry, but it's not something. Well, let's put this on the positive side. It's like what Amy said earlier about even just getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning just to do a shoot. or getting up at 5 a.m. just to record a song. It's this when your day starts. It's not that you're up at 5 o'clock singing a song. You're preparing for it. But is it something that you can get up and say, hey, I enjoy this? Or do you like doing your 9 to 5 and going every Monday morning, oh, God, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go. I don't want to see my boss. I don't want to see the people I work with. There is a difference. You know, it's working. And it's like, for me, I do the show alone. I don't have anybody working with me, and I get up somewhere between 7. Actually, I get up at 6, and I usually go back to bed and go, no, not now. But I usually get up around 6, and maybe around 8 o'clock I'll actually crawl out of bed, and I'll do what I have to do. And usually at 9 o'clock, at the very latest, I'm on my computer, and I'm doing what I have to do, and sometimes I don't go to bed till 3 o'clock at night, and then I'm back up at 8 o'clock in the morning, doing it all over again. So if anybody's ever wondering why you never catch me on the weekends, that's because this is what I do Monday through Friday. On the weekends, I'm dead.
It's totally like that. You know what I mean? Like I can relate. I understand that with radio. You guys have the most bizarre hours.
Oh yeah,
you do, and it's one of those things where there's times where we're recording, and I've recorded in the past where it's been like 3-4 o'clock in the morning because that's the time that the studio was available, and that was the time that we could record, or that was the one that was kind of there for all of us that kind of worked. So it's weird recording at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? But mm-hmm. And there's been times where for photo shoots, I've had to get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get a spray tan because I'm Casper.
Didn't say that.
So it's one of those things where it's funny because industry, it's not just about the singing. You've got to, it's about appearance as well. Funny story, but that's the truth, right?
Oh yeah.
This industry has become that way where it would be great if they were just set on The Voice, and and I love the show The Voice because of that reason. You know what I mean? Like there's no hidden lines there. You are what you are on The Voice, and that's strictly what they're looking for is The Voice. So it would be great if it was that way this day and age, but now it's like 50% voice, the other 50% image.
Yep. They want something that they can sell, and since it is, unfortunately, that actually does leave a lot of people out, because there's a lot of people out there with wonderful voices, but they just don't have what the industry considers to be looks. And some people actually just lose out on it. We actually lose out on a lot of people that have the voice, they have the personality, but they just don't have the appearance to go with it. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately it's true, but it's a very hard industry to break into, but at times it's insane, but it's a great industry. And especially being up here in Canada, a lot of the industry people that are trying to make it in the industry, that are independent artists, I'm friends with up here, and it's not one that we're it's not like we're, trying to backstab each other or go, well, I'm better than you, and, I can do this, or I do this way, or, whatever it is. We're in this to help each other. We're not, competing. This isn't a game for us. It's not a competition. We're actually friends. And, we want to see each other succeed, and we want to, we want good things for each other, right? We don't want to say, hey, you're never going to make it because, I want to make it.
Yeah.
So, and it's great. I hang out with a lot of these people, and, I'm happy to call them my friends, and I think they are extremely, extremely gifted and talented, musicians and, singers. So, I don't know where I was going with that, but I was going somewhere.
No, it's all right. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I love it because it's well, let's put it this way. When I lived close to Canada. I used to actually go up there a lot, and this was the days when you could cross the border with just a driver's license. You need a passport, from what I understand now. If you live, say, in New York and you want to cross over, you need a passport, even though you're just driving across the bridge or something. But
you need a passport, everything.
Yeah, unfortunately. But we used to just go over there and party and go to the beaches and all that kind of stuff, and it was a lot of fun back in those days. And that was the one thing I really loved about being in Canada, was the fact that everybody's just calm, laid back, and they just made you feel at home. And what you're describing is basically what I tell people all the time, is I'm not really a competitive person. In other words, what I mean by that is I don't compete against other people. I love to compete with myself. In other words, what's my best? And then once I achieve what I think is my best, I want to find out if it is my best. So I want to push myself to see if I can do better. And that's my competition. And it sounds like that's what you're describing is, I'm doing my level best, I'll help you do your level best. In other words, even as a friend of mine, a couple of friends of mine here, when we talk about even doing our radio shows, is that we always say, there does not any need to be competing against each other, because there's always room for somebody else to be doing the same thing we're doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where, like I was saying, because, we want to see each other succeed, and we want to help each other. And, even though we're going for the same industry, the same type of songs, the same, we want that same place. It's one of those things where I think there's a trust built between, all of us up here. And, for instance, Tanya Kennedy, who I'd mentioned before, who's an extremely talented woman from Barrie, Ontario here. If you have a chance, check her out. She's amazing. We were talking last week, and we talk on a daily basis, and we're working on doing a show together. And she had Facebooked me and said, "Hey, Amy, I have this song that that I'm thinking of releasing. Can I send it to you and get your opinion?" And so she did. And and it's one of those things where I was honest with her. I love the song. I love her voice. I think she's great. And that's the type of industry that we have. We're close knit picked, and we're so genuine to each other, and we just love helping each other.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question, since we're on this idea of being genuine and being who you are. Do you find that you are singing you, or are you trying to mimic somebody else?
No, I think I've got a really weird style. I don't know if you've heard it, but you heard it in Party Like a Redneck. But a lot of people say is I've got this kind of twang to my voice, right? And I'm a yodeler. I've been yodeling since I was like 7 or 8. I think it was like 14 or 13 when I mastered it or something, right? So it's something that I don't know if because of the yodeling thing that I've got that twang in my voice that makes me sound different, which I don't know if I could ever mimic anybody. I've been told that I haven't been told, but I've been compared to the Kelly Clarkson and Carrie Underwood, but I think that's because of the power that everybody's talking about that apparently I have, which I don't hear it. So, it's great to be compared to, artists like that, because I am a huge fan of them as well. I think they're just great, and they have set the bar so high in country music for, female artists, right? Because they're just off the chart amazing. So, to answer your question, I don't know if I'm mimicking anybody. I've been told that I sound like certain people, but if I am, it's not intentionally, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that was actually a question I was leading you into, because I wanted to hear it. I didn't want to give away what I was looking for. And the reason why I was asking you that is because people, and I'm actually doing this for the listeners at this point, is to always be yourself. There's something about you that is unique. And this is what you just heard in Amy saying. There's something about her voice that is unique. And I didn't ask this question of Amy before. And I think you can gather that just from the way she answered the question. I didn't ask her this before. there's something that's unique about her, and there's always something unique about every individual in the world. That's why we're called individuals, because you have something that's unique. In respect to what we were talking about just a little while ago, into the respect of supporting each other. Even with the friends that I have in radio, we talk about it is when we say that there's enough out here for everybody. There's a few of us that are doing very similar shows. And if, let's just say, if Amy is on my show and we're talking about something, and she is resonating with me, I'm resonating with her, so she's going to give answers that if she goes to another friend of mine's show and she talks with that person, she's going to probably give the same answer, but she's going to use different words because it's something that is going to resonate between those two people. So always be yourself, and always strive to be your best, not somebody else's best. I'll give you a quick example. About a month or two ago, I did a show, and I listened to somebody else's show, and I said, I'm going to slow down the way that I present my show, and I'm going to try to do it a little bit slower, a little bit more like this other person that I was thinking about. I put the show on, I played it for somebody else. About 2 days later, I almost literally got sick. I hated the show so much, I got up and went to my computer, destroyed the recording, and recorded it in my own style, and it came out the way that I really wanted it to be. In other words, I'm trying to do something that somebody else was doing, and it didn't work for me. I hated it. And matter of fact, somebody else they were being nice about it, but they didn't like it either. So, just be yourself.
Exactly. Well said.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Smart and pretty. Look, you go.
Well, okay, you got me laughing again. Go ahead. Take it away, Amy.
One more round. Oh, gosh.
But, yeah,
you should be a journalist.
Pardon me?
You actually remind me of a journalist. You should be a journalist.
No. Most I've ever done is I've been a writer. I've had printed material go into newspapers, but it was like I was ghostwriting for somebody, actually, at this point. As a matter of fact, this was back in 1991 or 1992, and a friend of mine who had spent some time working, I think it was in Russia, and he knew that there was a writer in some newspaper up in Toronto, believe it or not, asked him for a story, and they wanted it right away because they were going into print. So they said, you've got about an hour to write up a story about your experience in Russia. So he told me the story, I typed it up and sent it out, and it got printed. So as far as journalism is concerned, that's as far as I've ever gone with journalism. I have written other stories, I have written poetry, stuff like that, and I've had awards for my poetry, but that's neither here nor there for now. Anyway, we're not talking about me, we're talking about you.
Well, it was a pretty good story, though. You got it. Maybe I should reverse the tables here and interview you.
Okay, maybe next time. Okay, so you started out of 5. We're going back to you. You started out of 5. You did. Tell us about the yodeling. This something you definitely don't hear much about anymore these days. What's the yodeling? Tell us about that.
Yeah, funny story, because like I was saying before, I grew up on Patsy Cline and Tammy Wynette, and Patsy Cline used to yodel in her songs, and I remember saying to my parents, I was listening to one of her records, and I was like, I want to do that. And, they didn't know what that was, and I didn't even know what that was either, so we looked it up, and we were like, okay, it's yodeling. And it's one of those things where we were like, well, how do you do that, right? Because, how do you do it? So we had met with a producer / musician in Barrie, Ontario, who's worked with a lot of wonderful people, and he taught me how to yodel. He took me under his wing. His name is J.K. Gully, and he's just amazing. And we worked on the whole yodeling thing, and I already had that twang to my voice, so it kind of came naturally. And it was one of those things where I became obsessed with it. Right, I really wanted to learn how to do this, and I wanted to learn it well. And I remember there was times where I would come home from school, and all my friends were going outside playing or going to the park, and I was like, no, I want to stay home and I want to yodel. And I would literally stay home probably like for 4 or 5 hours yodeling straight. I almost sounded like a barking dog. It was horrible, but it became one of those things where it's natural now. And no matter how hard you try to get away from it, it's just one of those people that had come out and seen a previous show when I was younger. They're like, well, we want to hear that yodeling, that thing that you do. It's the yodeling thing. And so it's something that I don't think we're ever going to get away from, and we incorporate it into our shows, every show that we do, just because people love it.
Next time I have you on the show, you're going to have to do a little yodeling or give us a video on some of your yodeling.
Absolutely.
Cool. We're already building another show. That's cool.
See, I'm like a drug. I told you, you're not going to want to let me go.
Okay.
Should I pack my bags and move to Mexico now?
Alrighty then. Oh my God. Part 2 of the show coming up in a few weeks. Okay.
Talk to your peeps, I'll talk to my peeps, and we'll hook it on up, baby.
Oh, good thing my mother doesn't listen to the internet. Okay. I can hear her now. What are you flirting with?
It's almost like we have that natural ability to flirt. I don't even think we know that we're doing it, but we're really doing it. And people on the other end are going, oh my God, they're totally flirting. And we're like, what? What does that even mean? Like, we're just talking. Oh, he's so sexy.
I had to get my play sister on here, and I think the three of us are just going to have a good old time. But she's just as crazy as the two of us. So, yeah, I like the crazy people. It's the sane ones are the ones that consider themselves to be sane. They're the ones that I have to really worry about. Am I too crazy for you? I'm sorry.
That's when you say, come over to the dark side. It's much funner over here.
Well, what's that song? Take a walk on the wild side. There you go. Yeah. So, any rate, we only have a few more minutes to go. So, give us some words of wisdom here, Amy, from your experiences and your goals, and tie it all together about. For anybody who's out there, whether they're trying to get into the music industry or just dealing with life, what would you give suggestions for people that are, they're just wanting to move on with their life and they're just caught in going, oh man, I hate it here, but I don't know how to move?
Well, this is a question that I could just go on and on forever about. I am just a bowl full of knowledge, like a brilliant in itself. I'm like a walking, talking brain. Okay. So,
I give you 5 minutes.
So nobody loves me like me.
There you go.
So my word of advice to people making it in the industry is don't give up. Don't ever give up, because for every one person that doesn't want to see you make it, there's 100 more out there that do. There's people in the industry that are going to try to take advantage of you, try to feed you the bowl line. But, the end result is if you surround yourself with great people, greatness is bound to happen. And, that's what I've done with Michael. Michael is just, great. He's probably the greatest thing, if greatest is even a word, but, he's the greatest thing that has ever happened to me and my career. And I'm just so thankful, that we met him. And the saying is true. You surround yourself with great people, greatness happens.
It's very true.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, this is something that...
Here
we go with that echo again.
Here we go with that echo again.
Go away.
Go away.
Okay, it's not working.
Okay, it's not working.
God, I gotta stop
the tape.
Yeah, even as when I was talking to Jiggly Jones not too long ago, even when he was talking about how he, I'm saying Jiggly Jones because do you actually know him, or does he just know of you?
I've never met him. We actually we're signed to Michael. Both of us are signed to MTS, and we were actually in Nashville a few weeks back for CMA Fest. I performed on the Friday night, and he performed on the Saturday date, but we didn't get to cross paths, which was unfortunate because I really do want to meet him. Mm-hmm. He's a great entertainer and a great guy, and I'm hoping one of these days that we can definitely cross paths.
Yeah, he is a wonderful guy. But the thing that I've heard from him, and I'm hearing from you and from Josie, and even going back to Doug, is you have a great support group. Your family, your friends are all supporting you, and you have that support, which even as Jiggly says, it's very important to have that. He says it's not that you actually really need it, but it just makes life so much easier and so much better when you have those people that are behind you, that are really close to you, supporting you and saying, yeah, go for it. What do you need?
Absolutely. And it's so true. It's so true. I don't think, honestly, if it wasn't for, my family and the support that I got as a young child, singing, I don't think I would be where I am today. Because there was times at, a young age where I just wanted to give up because, I don't think I was not that I wasn't strong, but, it's one of those things where when people are saying negative things about you, or, the papers or the critics, or, someone doesn't like you, you get all, emotional, and 13, that's hard to handle, I think, right? Where now it's like if, someone says something about me, or, I don't like her style, I don't like her, her personality, it's one of those things, well, by golly, I'm going to make you like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I look at it somewhat the same way, but I also look at it from this point of view. When people, I told you earlier on, I said I've lost some friends from that, and I wasn't really joking about it. I was actually telling somebody, I said, if you don't like me, that's okay. Guess what? There's 7.5 billion other people in the world, and I can make friends anywhere I go.
Exactly.
So
that's a good way to put it.
Well, it's
almost like
it's a thing of where I can feel that you're not my end all in my world. Okay, I can walk out and I can meet somebody. I've done it. Even when my kids were small, they used to go, Dad, isn't there anybody that you don't know? Because, we would travel across the country, we stop for gas, and I end up talking to somebody. And they go, isn't there anybody you don't know? And I'm going, well, I took the line from, what's his name, Will Rogers, Sr., who says, strangers are just friends that I haven't met yet.
Exactly. That's good. That's a good saying.
So I actually learned that from my father, because he used to do the same thing, and I was just like, well, hey, people aren't all that bad. They're actually cool. You just got to actually just say hi, and you can start from there. So I guess what we're both of us are actually saying is that there's always going to be naysayers in your life. There's always going to be those naysayers. But the only problem is usually the naysayers are the loudest ones, and the ones that are actually liking you are the ones who are buying your album, they're buying your songs, that are supporting you when you're doing live concerts. They're always there. They may not be the loud ones like the naysayers. Oh, I can't stand her, whatever. But there's always going to be somebody that's back there just going, keep going, keep going. I like what you're doing. So listen to the ones that are supportive and skip the ones that are always the naysayers.
Exactly. Well said.
Thank you. So now before we go into another moment, we're about to close the show. So, Amy, what other words of inspirations do you have? And then we'll have to close the show. We'll have to talk about doing another show in the near future.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom to close the show. Just follow your heart, because your heart knows the way, and it knows the best path to get there. And you know what I mean? Don't let people bring you down. Just keep going. Aim high, because nothing is ever high enough. And again, just surround yourself with greatness and great people, because when you do that, greatness is bound to happen.
Indeed. Thank you again, Amy, for being here. And I'm very serious. We're going to have you back on the show sometime if you're so inclined to be here.
Absolutely. Just so I can flirt with you some more.
Ooh, baby. Okay. Alrighty. So anyway, thanks you for everyone for being here. Thank you for supporting the show, and we'll let you know when Amy's going to be back on the show, and then you can hear us really get crazy. Okay. Thanks for being here. We'll be here again soon, and thank you guys once again, Amy.
Thank you.
Be well, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Your Thoughts, Your Reality Radio. Be sure to follow our schedule, events, blog, and more at ytyrradio.tk or ytyrradio.wordpress.com.